over the hills and far from mine. She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side.
This is exciting. We've just turned off the main road heading towards Bornholm Beach. There's not really a clearly designated road to get there. Everything just says no through road, which is understandable since you end up at the beach. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the rain last night will probably make our passage a little bit easier because the sand tends to get a little bit more compacted. But we will see how we go. I've heard anything from you go down here, you never get your car out, to oh, this was easy, and could have done it in two-wheel drive. We've got plenty of power, we've got big tyres. I'll probably start at about 15 psi. Just because it's a big car, the tyres tend to bag out quite easily because of the weight pressing on them. If you have a lighter vehicle, you may need to lower your tyre pressures even further, but I'll go to about 15 psi and give it a go from there. If we're really struggling, I'll drop them, and I'm happy to go down all the way to about 6 or 8 psi if I really have to, but I don't think we're going to need to. Anyway, it'd be good to tick this one off the bucket list. Let's make up some ground.
Over the hills and far from mine, she's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side.
I just went down to 14 psi on the front, 15 on the rear, and we'll adjust as necessary. We're just making our way down to the beach now. There may be a car stuck on the track, we're not too sure. We saw some people up there and it wasn't really clear, so the communication wasn't really there, but we're going to go down and have a look anyway. If we can help, we will, and we may have to because it looks like there's only one way up and down, so we'll make our way down and we'll see what we find. Might be in for another recovery gang. Hopefully not as lengthy as the last one.
So are we not going to be able to get through?
I'm not sure. I mean, on Google it's showing two different branching paths leading down. So just make our way and see what we find. So this track leading down is very undulated. You can definitely tell it's very like a wombat hole sort of thing. You can definitely tell people have been up and down here and been really trying to get in and out, especially trying to go back uphill. What I'm doing now is just going down as slow as I can, first gear, and just letting the car almost roll down. And what that's doing is as I'm moving, it's actually pushing some of that dirt to fill in the holes and helping to sort of iron out those sort of spots as well. So far nothing that would really stop us. I know that the 200 would cruise through a lot of this sort of stuff, but you never know who else is going to come up, and perhaps the weather will change completely and we'll really struggle to get back up the hill. But so far it's looking pretty good. We're nearly down to the beach. I think there may be a car down here stuck. It looks very chewed up from what I can see, but we'll keep an eye out. Oh, look at that. I know this spot. Wow, this is steep as. This is very steep. made our way down onto the infamous Bornholm Beach, only to discover two four-wheel drives already stuck here, a 200 series stuck down to where the tide mark was, and a Hilux further up that was well and truly in a bit of a pickle. We pulled up nice and high, thinking we could get out of the way, talk to the fella to figure out a plan, and as I moved in front of his car to perform a snatch recovery, the sand just kept pulling me towards the water, and eventually we ended up here. Not really where you want to be, but I stopped pretty quickly, and we could recover the car nice and easily using the max tracks. Here we basically dug the high side out of the rut, and on the low side we placed a whole heap of max tracks to maintain traction as the car moved, because we didn't want it to sink and we didn't want it to move further towards the water. So this was a very slow process. If you can get yourself a long handled shovel, it definitely is worth its weight in gold for these sorts of situations. Our first plan of attack was to recover the 200 series, which was probably the worst stuck. He really just needed a snatch to bump him up and out of the sand. So in order to get my car into position, it took us a lot of digging to dig a nice big rut for my car to drive in, and to use as many of the max tracks and things as we could to line it up. The snatch recovery was going to be fairly simple, but we knew that as soon as I pulled on that car, my car was going to go down as well. So we planned it as best we could so that when I did pull forward, I was sitting on the max tracks, and I wasn't just going to bury the car underneath the sand. The 200 series was heavy and it was downhill, so it did take a little bit of momentum to pull it up. But eventually when it did pop, we only needed to move a short distance. We could then dig some more sand, and the rest of the recovery was going to be easy. My lovely wife started making some lunch as she was watching us recover the Hilux, which ended up being quite a mission in itself. And of course, as we're recovering the Hilux, two more Hiluxes come flying down the beach, absolutely no regard for the recoveries in progress, and get themselves well and truly stuck with the waves washing up at their tyres. Was a little bit funny to watch, but they had a lot of help to help get them out, so we left them to their own devices. With our three cars mostly recovered, we made the decision to basically do a J-turn and head back the way we came, since the Hilux has kind of hindered our progress to move in that direction. We basically did a J-turn, decided to turn around and head back towards, but unfortunately I took a bit of a wrong turn and thought I'll do a U-E, and got myself well and truly stuck a little bit further down. Dropped the tyre pressures down to 10 psi, and I basically crawled out of there. This is the 200 getting its first bit of traction in 5 hours. It had been stuck down there since essentially dawn break, and yeah, he wasn't hanging around, so he put the hammer down, did his turnaround, and then headed back up the hill back towards where the parking area was. Soon enough the Hilux followed suit, and then it was my turn to try and get back up the hill. Climbing the exit out of Bornholm definitely looked kind of sketchy, but once you had a bit of power and you sort of lined yourself up well enough, you found that once you got on that black sand, there was plenty of traction there to help you out. So I basically floored it, gunned it all the way up, just about lost it as I was coming around the hairpin turn, and before we knew it, we were all back up at the car park, ready to ascend and get off the beach and get away from all the wind and salt and sand. Here you can see the climb out of the main track to Bornholm Beach. It's quite torn up. You can see here this 200 series sat quite low, had a lot of weight in it, and as such he was really thrown around by a lot of the bumps. He put his foot down and made his way to the top. If you wanted to, you could probably go a little bit slower. As I said, when I came down I tried to iron out a bunch of the bumps, but I think the two Hiluxes ended up tearing up a little bit as well. So when we went up there, I also didn't really want to hang around too much. I wasn't going crazy, but I also wanted to keep my momentum up because I knew I was going to lift wheels and fall into holes and stuff like that. And yeah, we didn't want to hang around because the weather started to turn a little bit as well. You can see here the condition of the track. Obviously it's quite undulating. There's a lot of wombat holes. You can see where cars have obviously tried to come up, gotten stuck, spun their wheels and dug opposing holes. And it made it quite a hard time to crawl up there nice and slow. You did need to keep your momentum up. Once you sort of crested around this corner here, the going was a little bit easier, which was nice. Well, the heart's definitely pumping now. Just come off of Bornholm Beach. Was very soft at the beach. We've just driven back up the hill, finally off the beach. It's been very soft. I started at 15, I've dropped to 10 on the beach, and it made a huge difference. And now we're up the top of the hill. We're past all the yucky boggy stuff, and we'll start to make our way back out to the entrance. And then I think we're going to find camp and probably have a bit of a wash. I'm covered in sand, and we'll actually go and chill for a little while, I think, because it looks like the weather might be coming in. So let's keep moving on to the next camp. I love this. I froth over it. It's amazing. Let's do it again. Good evening all, welcome to Parry Beach campground. We were hoping to do a bit of free camping tonight, find a little bush camp somewhere ideally, but today just took it out of us. Bornholm Beach and the 2 recoveries we did were very taxing. Sand was very soft, and we were at risk of losing this car and the other 2 cars as well had we not got them out in time. We grabbed a coffee in Denmark, which was good. Denmark Bakery, check it out if you're there. Make a really nice apple and cinnamon muffin and a nice coffee too. And then we basically headed this direction thinking, oh, we'll see if we can find a free campsite and, you know, sort of tuck away somewhere in the bush. But we ended up coming here because we thought we'd just check it out, and it was $10 per person per night. And yeah, it's just nice to have a hot shower. Well, solar hot showers here anyway. Nice grassy area to set the camp up, and we can just chill and not have to worry about surviving. So yeah, it's pretty full here tonight. Not as full as I've seen it, but it is still quite full, very popular on a long weekend. And I'm just getting some editing done to try and get ahead on some of these videos. So the plan for tomorrow, our penultimate day on the road, is to head to the Blackwood River. We've done the south coast as much as we've been able to. There's heaps of more spots that you can sort of find down this way, so don't think that we've shown everything, because we definitely have not. There's heaps more you can see and do, but we've sort of cherry picked a few of the spots that we wanted to go and see, and in doing so and going and seeing them, we've now got a list of all the other places we want to go and see. So that'll be for next time, I think. But tomorrow we're going to head to the Blackwood River, hopefully find a nice little campsite along there, which will be our final campsite. Hopefully yeah, get a nice big fire going and enjoy being by the river. And then after that be the drive back to Bunbury. I'm going to jump back to this editing, enjoy this nice little bit of scotch here, and wait for the sun to set, make some dinner, and then go to bed. Catch you guys soon. stopped in Walpole to make a bit of lunch. Just heating up some chicken. I'm going to have some wraps. Awesome little spot here in Walpole by the visitor centre. It's a nice bit of facilities here, and big bench and barbecue and some running water, even some power as well. So if you're going through Walpole, make sure you stop here and support the little towns. This is brilliant. Loving it. Well, we're at our next camp. We are just off of the, well, I can't remember what highway it is. Not too far from, oh, we're actually just across the road from Rooney's Bridge, if you know where that is. That'll show up on Google. But there's a nice little spot down here by the river, which you need, it's quite undulating to get down, so getting back up in a non-capable four-wheel drive would probably be a bit difficult, or need a pretty big run up. But it's a nice little spot, lots of running water. Very slight bit of noise from the road above, but really nothing to worry about. Once we get a fire going and we're sitting here listening to the river, I think it's going to be great. So let's go set up camp. It's nice to be somewhere where we're here in the daytime, especially for a free camp. Ta-da! Good morning all, welcome to camp. It's our final morning on the road. Today we head back home. It's just nice to take a few minutes and enjoy it while it lasts, before we get back to everything else that life has with it. Here all I've got to worry about is my cuppa, campfire, and some crumpets I'll cook later as well. If watching these trip videos has made you want to get out and do this sort of thing, I would urge you to do it. If you can, take a day off work, a week, a month, whatever you can, jump on the road, pick a few spots, go for a drive, enjoy it. We had this holiday booked for about 4 or 5 months in advance, and I've been absolutely on the edge of my seat ever since I booked it, trying to get away to do this. Our plans have changed. We've been let down by road closures and other bits and pieces. We've had time frames that have changed, appointments we've had to get to, equipment failures, all that sort of stuff, but it's all part of the adventure. We've still spent over a week out in the bush. Still enjoyed getting out here and camping, forward driving, seeing some little corner pockets which maybe some other people have never seen before. Maybe only a handful of people. I think I'll sign off from here. The rest of it's just going to be making breakfast and then driving home, I think. But this is the last you'll see of me for a little while. Well, until I put the next video up anyway. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing to Off-Road Crusader. Thank you for buying a shirt or getting a patch or a sticker from the merch store in the description below. Thank you for looking at my Patreon page and deciding whether or not you'd like to follow me on there if you want to get some early access and some other cool stuff. And we'll catch you next time on Off-Road Crusader. Cheers.